I'm Bonnie Muirhead with bonnieappetit.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a spinach and tomato pasta salad. All right, to start, I have my cooked pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. Since it's a salad, I recommend not using a spaghetti or any noodles just because it's easier to eat, especially if you're having a picnic or something like that. So I've cooked it to the specifications on the back of the packet, and I've rinsed it in cold water to stop the cooking, and then I've drizzled olive oil all over it and stirred it really well so it doesn't stick together. Next, what we're gonna do is I have my baby spinach here, and it's already washed and dried. And some baby spinach leaves have long stems, so we just want to kind of take off any of those because they're kind of fibrous and you don't really want to eat them. And just a little nutritional note on spinach, it is probably one of the most nutrient-packed vegetables we can eat. It has a huge amount of protein, not to mention iron, and has anti-inflammatory properties in your gut. So if you're not feeling too good, it's actually good to eat spinach. So what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of this. We don't need too much because we're not going to cook this spinach. It's going to stay raw. It was actually the best way to eat spinach, really. And I'm just going to cut it up just a little bit. We just want a little rough chop. I'm going to put it in my bowl, and it can just sit there. And then next, I've got a beautiful tomato full of lycopene. And tomatoes can actually help lower your cholesterol, and lycopene is an antioxidant, so eat lots of them. And they're actually just as nutritious in any form. So ketchup, great source of lycopene. But this is out of my garden and it's fresh and juicy, so we're gonna use that. Now, if you've noticed, I've taken the stem end out because nobody wants to eat this, it's gross. And so I'm just gonna do a rough chop on these tomatoes. They're really juicy, and it's gonna help the spinach break down a little bit because of the acid. And I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like seeds in tomatoes. I prefer them. I think the seeds actually contain most of the flavor, so don't seed your tomatoes, especially when they're like this, because you'll lose all the juice. So we're gonna set those in there as well. Then next, just a little clove of garlic. Just gonna mince that up. Raw garlic is very punchy in flavor and it can be very off-putting to some people, so I always recommend never using more than a clove. A little goes a long way, especially when it's raw. It loses its flavor and it becomes more mellow as you cook it, so you can use more if you're heating it up. So I'm gonna just throw that in there. And then I have some zest of a lemon that I've already done. Throw that in there. It just gives it a really crisp, citrusy flavor that goes really nicely with this salad with the tomatoes. And I actually want some lemon juice as well, so I'm just gonna segment my lemon. And if you cut it like this, where you alternate sides, you actually don't get all the seeds, so you don't have to worry about straining it with something. So you can just squeeze all this in there. And now I'm just gonna give this a little toss. And I haven't seasoned anything yet. I'm a firm believer in seasoning with salt and pepper, the very last thing you do before you serve it. I also don't put salt in my pasta water because I try to keep my sodium levels down. And I find if you use a really salty salt, I know that sounds funny, but sea salt is actually saltier than table salt because of the bigger pieces. If you just season at the last minute, you get the same effect of the salt, but not with all the sodium. So you kind of cheat your sodium levels, which I like because I'm a salt fiend. And then finally, we're just gonna add some shaved Parmesan. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. It's the real stuff. It should be really flaky and dry. If it doesn't flake when you use it, it's probably not real. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that. And then lastly, I'm just gonna drizzle with a little bit more olive oil. Just like that. The more the better. Olive oil is also very good, it's a good fat for us, so don't be afraid to use it. And it's gonna really keep everything moist and marinated. So we're just gonna give it a little toss, and then we're gonna plate it up. Again, this is excellent for a summer picnic or just a really simple lunch or a dinner on a hot day. And there it is. Once again, I'm Bonnie Muirhead, and that was how to make a spinach and tomato pasta salad.